Can a few simple words really change your entire life? I mean, it sounds like a massive exaggeration, right? We usually just treat words as breath, basic sounds or letters on a screen. But as we're gonna see today, there's so much more. They're literally the invisible architecture of our experiences. Let's look at a story that proves exactly how this works.
Picture this, a bustling, packed market. You've got a busy walkway crammed with people rushing to work, running errands, just completely absorbed in their own little fast-paced worlds. And sitting right there, by the side of this walkway, is an old blind man. He's got an empty hat in front of him, holding just a pitiful few coins. Hundreds of people are literally walking right past him, but hardly anyone is stopping to drop a coin or even acknowledge he's there.
Beside him is a small signboard with a super straightforward plea. I am blind, please help me. It's a statement of fact, right? Very direct, but well, it's just not working. That hat is staying empty. The words are absolutely true, for sure, but they just aren't connecting with the busy crowds rushing past. They completely lack any kind of emotional pull.
But then, the whole dynamic shifts. One morning, a young woman heading to work notices him, and she doesn't just walk by. First, she pauses and drops a few coins into his hat. But she doesn't stop there. She actually picks up his signboard, turns it over, grabs a marker, and writes a totally new message. She sets it back down so it's front and center for everyone to see, and she just walks away.
Almost instantly, the vibe changes. Suddenly, people aren't just walking by anymore. They're actually stopping. They're reading the sign. And most importantly, they are dropping way more money into the blind man's hat. It quickly starts filling right up to the brim. The turnaround is rapid, it's undeniable, and it completely shifts his day. So what happened? Well, later that afternoon, as the woman returns home, the man recognizes her footsteps. He stops her and asks, "Were you the one who changed my sign? I've been getting so many donations. What did you write?"
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast. The woman knelt down, smiled, and told him, "I only wrote the truth, but in a different way." On the left, you've got the original text, "I am blind, please help me." But over on the right, the new message, "It is a beautiful day and I cannot see it." Just let that sink in for a second. It is the exact same fundamental truth, but framed in a way that completely shifts the perspective of anyone reading it.
To see why this works, let's try a quick little experiment. Elephant. When you hear that word, what happens? Your mind instantly creates a picture, doesn't it? You're not just visualizing the letters, no. You picture a massive gray animal with a long trunk. Words instantly bypass the analytical part of our brain and paint these incredibly vivid images in our heads. Let's move to and see how this builds, because this goes way beyond just picturing objects. Words are real game changers because they do two things simultaneously. They create mental images, and crucially, they evoke deep emotions. They shape our thoughts, alter our reality, and open up entirely new possibilities. That is exactly what the young woman's words did. Her new sign made people feel the warmth of that beautiful day, and then bam, they immediately felt the heavy emotional weight of not being able to experience it.
Take a look at this comparison to see how polarizing this effect can be. On the left, we have words like joy and hope. When we hear those, our brains just instinctively flood with positive feelings, right? We feel lighter, more optimistic, more open to connection. But look at the right side. Words like anger and fear. These are immediate triggers. They spark negative emotions, putting us right on edge. This dual ability of words to conjure up both images and deep feelings is exactly what shapes how we think, how we feel, and how we end up acting in the real world.
We just saw how words impact crowds of strangers, but let's pivot to something way more intimate. The words we use deeply affect ourselves. We all have this continuous inner dialogue running in our heads, a constant internal narrator. As you'll see here, many spiritual teachers emphasize a really vital piece of advice. Be mindful of your self-talk, because that internal narrator, it massively influences your entire outlook on life.
So, the crucial point is that this inner chatter is not just harmless background noise. When we actively use positive self-talk and affirmations, we get real, tangible results. It improves mental and physical health, boosts motivation, builds inner strength and significantly increases your resilience against life's daily grind. On the flip side, constantly feeding yourself negative words is literally harming you, chipping away at that resilience. Your inner vocabulary is building your reality from the inside out.
But obviously, words don't just stay locked inside our heads. Think of them as the absolute foundation of your connections with everyone around you. The contrast here is super clear. On the left side, kind words build strong bonds. Speaking kindly, offering real encouragement, it weaves this tight, resilient net of connection with your family, friends, and colleagues. But over on the right, careless words damage connections. Throwing around negative or careless language creates instant misunderstandings. It weakens those relationships and completely dilutes the value of your words for when you actually do need to be heard.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core message of the material we're breaking down today. The words you use are a direct reflection of who you are, and they have the active power to shape the world around you. So choose them wisely. Use them to bring kindness to others, just like the woman who completely turned around the blind man's day. And just as importantly, use them to bring strength to yourself through your own daily self-talk. Every single word carries the potential for positive or negative impact. You hold the steering wheel.
So I want to leave you with this final, vital question to really chew on as you go about your day. What kind of word will your words build today? Are they going to build walls, or are they going to build bridges? Will they spread fear, or will they spark incredible generosity? The choice is entirely yours. Thank you for hanging out with me on this explainer.